What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Heck versus Hell, where the truth we tell. It's your boy Hector here, back again. And I want to apologize first and foremost because we have had a 2 week break from releasing any content, any more HVH episodes. And I want to just apologize momentarily and for my inconsistency. Now, as you may be able to tell, once again, I am sick. And this has just been it's constant attacks. It's constant attacks from everywhere. We still show the love and appreciation and see it from you guys always tuning in, and even whenever we're not releasing all these episodes as we should be. So I want to thank you and let you know that we appreciate it very, very much. So, as you can probably hear in my voice, it's not the best going on right now. There's just a lot of attacks coming on and undergoing and wanting to bring us down and push us back. There was actually a moment where Heck versus Hell might have not continued to tell the truth. In the sense of maybe discontinuing it just because of personal issues that were going on. But I'm like, I can't do that to my family. I can't do that to my lovely, beautiful souls that are listening right now. And that's right, I'm talking to you. Don't blush, don't blush. But that's kind of why I had to come back on here and give a little bit of a difference. So that's why it says 27.5, because I had these other ones recorded previous to this recording, episode 28 and 29 that you'll soon hear. And I wanted to just hop on here to let you know that we're still here, we're still active, we're still pushing forward, and we haven't forgotten about you. Okay, there's just been a couple hiccups in life as always, as there always is. But sometimes, you just need to tear yourself down to come back stronger. You have to have not a sense of perfection, but always analyzation to continuously better ourselves. And sometimes it does need to be some type of hiatus that we need to take, a sabbatical. People have sabbaticals when it comes to other things, and that's not to say, hey, we're just going to leave you guys high and dry, let y'all not know what we're doing and anything like this. That's not what this was, and that wasn't our intention. I was actually the one that wasn't delivering my episodes on time, and that was intentional, but it wasn't the intention behind. I guess you guys know what I'm trying to say. Anyways, I want to leave a quick little message right now. This is going to be a very short one, as you could probably tell before you clicked onto it. I just want to allow you to continue to push forward and let you know that we are still here with open arms. And there are a lot of people that are going to come across your path trying to stray you from your purpose. And I'm saying this, of course, in relevance to what's going on right now in the personal life and personal issues that are going on behind the scenes. That maybe we'll discuss in some future episodes. Okay, I know you might be a little like wondering like what's going on, what's happening over there. It's still to be determined, everything that's going on. So it's just a lot of moving pieces everywhere, behind the scenes, behind the curtains. But we try to bring it to you as raw as we can, come back with the information, share a cup of coffee with you guys, get a little drink, kick back and say, hey, well, this is kind of what's going on, all right? But we want you to know that we're still here. We still love you. We still appreciate you very, very much so. And there's just been a lot of analysis, once again, that I've had. And I come to realize, even with one of the episodes, I'm kind of upset because there was an episode that I know I had put out there. Like, I can't find it for some reason. And, let me know if you guys have seen it. But I swear I called it like 2D, 3D, and 4D. But for some reason, I couldn't find it. So you guys are going to have to help me out there. Let me know if I named it something else or something. I was looking through the episodes and I couldn't find it. It like disappeared completely off the map. But to give you a little context of that one, if I didn't put it out there or if you just haven't heard it yet, I was referring to the sense of how video games are played. Okay, I was making a video game analogy and how a lot of the times people that play video games, if you're watching them play video games, they get very emotionally connected to the game to the point where they are making all these decisions. They get so involved in the game that they can actually end up breaking a chair, breaking their TV, breaking, their remote control, their console, whatever it may be. They go and they act out of emotions, because they become emotionally invested into it because they're spending so much time into it, right? And so in this case, that's 2D compared to 3D, right? We're playing a video game, and our three-dimensional character, us, that is controlling the game, we get our emotions tied into it. Okay. But in that same context is how our spirit works. And we get so caught up on the day to day with day to day emotions, with little problems that come across our path that frustrate and fluster and keep us stagnated, where we begin to lose focus and forget that we are not in this lifetime forever. That's something that I've heard someone say before too, is this too shall pass. And it just means in the reference of it's all temporary. Every problem that we have in this life, it's very, very temporary. We don't have 10,000 years that we're going to be living in this flesh, right? It's only going to, maybe if we're blessed, 100 years. Some people, if that. Some people, their natural causes happen every single day. But my point being is that whenever we get so involved in the day-to-day basis, and this is just, what Lex has previously said before about, you get so caught up in the picture, and when you're in the picture, you can't see the frame, meaning you begin to lose sight. You begin to lose sight of what you're doing and why you're doing it, what the end goal is, what your purpose is. Because, of course, we have to make sure that maintenance is going on, that we're keeping, for example, if you're doing a car and you're driving to a destination, we have to make sure that the oil's in check, that the tires have pressure, that everything's running smoothly, that all your fluids are aligned, that your blinkers are working, whatever it may be. You get so caught up in that you forget this is where you're going. This is what the ultimate purpose and end goal is. So I want you to stay focused and know that this that you're going through right now, I just have a feeling like you need to hear this right now. This that you're going through right now is going to pass. It's very temporary. It's going to be solved. And that's why one of the best and one of my favorite scriptures is, seek first the kingdom and his righteousness. Because, as I've said before, there's good, bad, and right. And ultimately, we have to follow the principles of truth. We have to have that hidden in our heart. So whenever we understand that we're doing the right things, the universe doesn't matter if you think something is good or bad. It's whether the universe, right, we're quote unquote the universe, which is still, God, they care about what's right and wrong, not what you believe is good or bad. Because, once again, we can go into all these political issues that are going on across the world, whether certain things are good or bad, and everybody has their opinion. Everybody has their opinion because we all have different beliefs. But ultimately, we have to align. That's why it says, seek first his kingdom. Align our beliefs with the kingdom of heaven. Every time Christ came down and he was preaching, one of the main things that he said was, behold, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. A lot of what he was teaching, the gospel, was literally the principles of the kingdom of heaven. He didn't glorify himself. He was the kingdom of heaven in the flesh. He was the Garden of Eden, the presence of God. So the kingdom of heaven is a culture that we must expand on. Just like we talked about back in one of the first episodes, kingdoms and cultures, it's what we have to align ourselves with the culture of righteousness, of his righteousness, to be more specific. And whenever we do that, that's when things play out the way they're supposed to play out. It doesn't matter if something looks impossible. I'm telling you, I've seen stranger things, and that's what I've been saying recently. I'm not talking about the Netflix show or anything like that, but there's been really, really tough situations that shouldn't have ever happened. If you're very logical, if you're very analytical, and take things into perspective of chance and possibilities and probabilities and all that, there's so many things that happen, and I've seen and I've witnessed, and you have too. I know you have. You just have to look for it. Look for it in your life. There's things that have gone on in your life that are super strange, and you're like, whoa, this is a coincidence, or this is incredible luck, or this is a blessing. Whatever it is that you want to call it, ultimately it's a blessing. Ultimately, it's an alignment, a gift. Everything we have is always going to be a gift. It's always going to be a gift. Even if something that you're going through is super traumatic, it's always a gift, because even a lesson is a blessing. And that's one of my first principles that I came across. Everything is either a lesson or a blessing. Yet a lesson is also a blessing, right? So even these things that we may not like per se, that's still the love of God. That's still the merciful of God. Because even though, like karma, for example, even though people look at karma and they're like, hey, if you reap bad, you reap what you sow. Absolutely. Absolutely. But tell me when a father has not hit his child in the terms of wanting his child to be better, to improve, to bend the sap while it's still young. That's what our Father's love is. That's what we must understand. Even these situations that we're going through that we just absolutely hate, they're for good. There's been so many situations in your life that you look at and you just hurt from. You're in pain, and you wonder yourself. And there's a lot of people out here too, and especially atheists, that feel that pain and that resentment and that anger towards God. And they choose to live their existence in a reality that they've created from a very limited perspective, not fully understanding why they got there. And at times, and this may sound really cruel, but at times there's even instances where you're not meant to understand why it's happening, yet it gives you a hunger. Just like people, whenever we grow up in such a poverty type of being or personality or household, we're growing up in that, we learn a different type of hunger. And although we don't understand it at the moment, we don't understand why it's happening, why we were born, why we drew this hand, what anything, we don't understand it. We get that hunger and we start to strive for greatness. And it's that hunger that ultimately we use for the right purpose. So a lot of the things, even if they may be used in the devil's kingdom, at one point in time, it's a gift that was given to you by God. And it's up to you whether you want to choose it the right way and seek first his kingdom, or the wrong way, the wide and what is it called? The wide path, pretty much, right? And that's how we got to look at it. It's always going to be, are you with or against the kingdom? Christ said, you're either with me or against me. You're either gathering or you're scattering. There is no in between. There is no lukewarm. For if you're lukewarm, I'll spit you out. You're either hot or you're cold. So if you're going to do something, do it all the way. Even if it's doing bad, if you're going to do bad, do it all the way. And I say that with sincerity and in hopes that on that path, you find God. Because I was doing bad like hard. I was going hardcore and doing bad, but it was because I did that and not living in a sense of comfortable. Even though I made myself uncomfortable in a way that I kind of liked, it still pushed me out of my comfort zone to allow me to get so uncomfortable to where God could actually speak to me. And that's what I want you to be aware of, is stop living on autopilot. Okay, first of all, stop living on autopilot. Do things all the way. Come back, rebuild yourself, step away from a little bit, do what you have to do. Go hidden and hide really quick. Hide yourself from the world and come back greater, because the real New Year's isn't come yet, right? We talk about New Year's and all that. Real New Year's hasn't come yet. Real New Year's is actually when Passover comes, which should be, if I'm not mistaken, like right there in the 1st of April. That's when the real New Year starts. So you still got time. If you want to live by God's kingdom, by God's culture, you still got time to make those New Year's resolutions, right? But do it all the way. But do it to the point, and you don't need to wait for no New Year's, okay? Double negative, I know, I understand, but I'm getting in this kind of fiery talk, all right? Don't listen to what I'm saying. You don't need to wait. You can just do it. So I want you to understand that, listen to that. I am sorry once again for the delay and little hiccup of not being put out here, but I love you all. And I hope you each have a blessed rest of your day, blessed weekend, blessed week, blessed month, blessed everything. And I pray all these blessings upon your lives, everybody that's hearing this right now, hearing this message, for it was given to you for a purpose and a reason. And I pray that you heal and feel and intake the Holy Spirit and listen to that calling within you. Because once again, God is within us. Greater is He who is within you than he who is in the world. He is within you. The Spirit is within you. You don't have to look for the greatness outside of you, beyond you, in front of you, behind you, in the past, in the future. It's inside of you. So I pray that you all hear the calling within you, that you find your purpose for the kingdom of God, because I can't wait to see how God's body, how Christ's body comes together and takes a turn on this world. Let's get out here. Let's do some things, all right? Let's do some things. I love you. Bless you. And as always, I will see you on the flip side.